Peace and Black Power family. This is Jade Arundel, aka Lioness Crowns, your revolutionary, unapologetically Black African host, right here at FlyNubianQueen.com, the network for melanated women like you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You have entered into the Lioness Den. This is Wednesday. We are still in 2020. We're in May of 2020. We have more of these disgusting, twisted cases of strange fruit 2020 happening, going on, you know, these lynchings of Black men at the hands of law enforcement and race soldiers. So I want y'all to come on into the Lioness Den. Y'all know I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. We have intelligent conversations here, and we talk about not just the problem, not just solutions, but we talk about Black empowerment. How are we going to empower ourselves, right? Not to just merely survive, but to thrive. We get to be on code and on guard. So if you're brave enough and you want to rock with us, enter in at your own risk. Any buffoonery, coonery, or disempowering, self-deprecating, anti-Black, internalized inferiority talk is not welcome here. I see Maryland's in the house. B1 family, B1. Hey, what's up? I see y'all coming on in. Let me know what city y'all hailing from so we can jump right on into this broadcast. This is not going to be a long broadcast today because really it's less about what we say and more about what we do. And in situations like this, you know, sometimes less is more. Sometimes less is more. I see New York is in the house. Reggie B1. Hey, B1, B1. All right, let me pull up this chat right quick and see what y'all talking about. Oh, I see that. Did I see correctly? Did I see that YouTube actually sent out a notification today? Interesting. So thank you so much, Water Sniper. Interesting name. All right, I see LA is in the house. We got San Francisco. I saw Maryland in the house. We got Michigan in the house. E-Daddy, what's going on up there in Michigan? I see we got Kentucky, North Carolina. Hey, North Kakalaki. Good morning, Kirk. All right, Detroit, I see you. Michigan, Ohio, Fort Worth, Texas. I like Texas. Texas is a cool state. The Black folks in Texas don't play. Maybe because it's an open carry state or something. I don't know. I like that. I see we got Nola in the house. Hey, Kirk, B1. Ellenwood, Georgia, I see you. Chicago, York, Pennsylvania. I know Pennsylvania pretty well. I used to live there. Peace, sister. Okay, DC. You said peace, sister. DC checking. Hey, Michael. All right, Virginia. I see you. Dallas, San Francisco, Buffalo. Good morning, the Dreamer. Tulsa. Interesting. I got some folks in Tulsa, too. Hey, London. Selvin from London. You West Indian, Selvin. You Jamaican? Or you Trini? With a name like Selvin? What's up? All right, B1, I see y'all coming on in. Pittsburgh, Southern California, etc. So as y'all are coming in, continue to shout out your state. I want you to greet each other. I want you to send some positive vibes to each other. I see 1212 on the clock. If I call out random numbers, just type them in because I keep seeing these number patterns and they all mean something, by the way. But let's send some love and light. Let's send some vibes of strength, empowerment, and healing. We want to set an intention. I'm setting an intention today for the Lioness Den. We are going to talk about this topic. We are going to talk about our brother George Floyd, who was lynched by some damn pigs, you know what I'm saying? Some white boys in law enforcement, right? Another day, same story, ain't nothing new. But what we won't do is become so traumatized by these lynchings that are airing on camera for their amusement and for our chastisement and for our intimidation, because that's the intent and purpose behind this. We will not be disempowered and so damn traumatized that we actually do nothing about it. We will not be so damn traumatized that we freeze, all right? This form of hatred and this sort of genocide. If anything, this needs to empower us to become more active, to become more on code and more on guard, more aware, and more solution oriented. Let me just put it that way. Hey, Oakland, I see you. So yeah, make sure you keep shouting out your cities and your states. I need everyone right quick to hit that like button. Thank you so much. I like the work you're doing, young sister. Don't stop. Thank you so much, Vinny01. We really, really, really do appreciate your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen Network. It will be put to good use, and may you be blessed in all your doings and your givings. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, we got Houston. So y'all are coming in. Be one. We're Black first in here. So as y'all are doing that, I want to remind you all a couple housekeeping things. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to FlyNubianQueenTV.com. Also text the word Queens with an S to 31996. That's Queens to 31996. Make sure you also subscribe to our Facebook our Facebook page, FlyNubianQueen.com on Facebook, and we're also FlyNubianQueen.com on iTunes. So sign up on iTunes. Visit our shop at shopfnq.com, shopfnq.com. And if y'all didn't know, I'm sure y'all know. Some of y'all know, some of y'all don't want to know. Some people pretend like they don't want to know. We're in the middle of a race war. We're in the middle of a race war. War has been raged onto the black man, the black woman, and the black child. Clearly, that's what we're dealing with right now. And it's not just the police deaths or the harassment by Karens and Beckys and random people trying to intimidate or them killing us on camera. It's functioning every facet of society. War has been raised on our children and their education. War is being waged economically and within the job market. Actually, I woke up this morning and I get a text message from a sister, and she was like, "Did you check your email? Did you see email from such and such?" And I checked my email, and basically, the email was just like, I mean, this did not affect me, but this email was basically like, due to the economy and what's going on with COVID-19, we have made the very, very tough decision to lay off all of our staff. I'm not anybody's staff, by the way, but I'm just showing you. And so, people without notice are losing their jobs. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes, like, we be the first ones fired and the last ones hired. Now, wasn't necessarily the case with the organization that I'm talking about, but it's just, the point. I just saw 222s in terms of the number of people tuned in right now, by the way, 222. So anyway, what I'm saying is we need to be prepared. We need to be prepared in every sense. Do you have multiple streams of income? Are you investing in, a diversified portfolio? Do you also have crypto? Do you have certain types of stocks? What's going on with the finances? You know what I'm saying? You might want to get a susu started. If you don't know what a susu is, you get a bunch of people together and every week y'all invest a certain amount in, and then the rotation of the cycles, whether y'all investing every 2 months or every 6 weeks or however, people on the list in order, they get to cash out the pot. We need to be pooling in our resources. We need to be starting our own businesses. And with that said, I'm going to encourage you, I implore you to go over to visit and sign up for our programs at FlyNubianBusiness.com. That's FlyNubianBusiness.com. Thank you so much to our moderators in the house. Thank you, Dual. I see you, Queen. I really appreciate you. All right. So let me take a sip before we get started right quick. All right. This is annoying, but it must be done. It must be said. We're going to talk about our brother. Our hearts go out to George Floyd and to his family. His brother was taken. His life was taken. He was sitting in his car. I have a new video. It says new video shows George Floyd being dragged out of his car without resisting arrest, handcuffed and manhandled on the sidewalk before he was murdered by a cop who kneeled on his neck. What y'all think about that? Oh, thank you. You like my cup, Selvin? It's this is over. You can get one of these at shopfnq.com. Shopfnq.com. What y'all think about that? Let me see what y'all talking about before we really delve into this today. I'm gonna take my time today, but I'm really not gonna be here long because I don't want to give all of this madness too much of my energy because I got some real proactive things to be working on today. But what y'all think about that? Okay, Habiba says it kept me up all night. Somebody else, Alex said I-49. JS or J-Shine, random says it's murder. Absolutely. Grand rising to you too, Brother Kofi. Rest in peace, power, prosperity, and paradise, Brother George, says Junior Hall. Hey, Cleveland. You're an outraged black king. I see you. Baltimore PD did that to Freddie Gray. Yep, I remember. Q's Talk says it's messed up. Raquinus says my heart is broken because I have 3 black brothers. I got 2 brothers. It's time to separate. Hey. Ditto. Thank you so much to A King Within for your generous contribution to FlyNubianQueen.com. We greatly appreciate it, and may you be blessed. May you be blessed. Thank you. So yeah, y'all typing in. So interestingly, listen, everybody's talking about some white chick in damn Central Park who had her dog off the leash. The brother was like, can you put your dog on the leash? Yada yada yada. She calls the cop. Everybody's like talking about that. That was big news over the weekend. My mother was even like, hey, you seen this? I'm like, listen, I'm tired of seeing these damn Karens and Beckys. I ain't got the time. Now, that heifer, yeah, she's a heifer. I'm using strong words today. I'll try to temper myself, but I'm using strong words today. Not only did she lose her job, but she also lost her dog. Go figure. White people, white women especially, what they say about them and their dogs. But anyway, I'm just going to set that right there. Oh, Leo, she says moving to Ghana too. Ghana is a beautiful place. Ghana is a beautiful place. I had the pleasure of spending some time there in 2005. Beautiful. I see Al Green. I see what you're saying, Al Green. I see your comments. So basically, everybody talking about this Karen, Becky, Karen, Susan chick, Central Park, and then I took a break. I do my intermittent fasting, like I was telling y'all about before, as recommended by Dr. Laila Africa. Shout out to the 307 people in the chat. I just got started and I just saw 1212 again. But either way, so I'll be online one day and then I'll be off. I try to balance it out. I gotta balance out my spirit. I gotta balance out, the size of my brain and, get all my chakras and stuff in alignment and not inundate myself with too much so that I don't lose focus on the work that really needs to be done. So, our brother was lynched. Our brother George Floyd was lynched on Monday. I did not watch the videotape. And then when I started looking into it yesterday, after I saw so many people turning up, and shout out to all those people who are turning up in Minneapolis. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Because they turning up over there. Shout out to them. And it's not just, I didn't just see black people out there turning up against the police in response to this lynching of our brother. It was a multiracial group. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of different. Now I can't vouch for all of these people, but I just saw 1313. But basically, people are fed up. Like, we are definitely living in a police state. Definitely. And for all them white folk who aren't necessarily so engulfed in the cognitive dissonance, if you don't know what that is, you need to go back a couple broadcasts and, I really broke that down. Some of them, are just real like, hey man, this is messed up. They don't necessarily know what to do in terms of like, fighting against the entire white supremacist structure. But, some people do have a conscience. So we saw some folk out there, and some people could be out there posing, but, the amount of people that I saw out there turning up, I was like, wow. So when I saw those videos, people were sending me those videos left and right. I'm like trying to pace myself right yesterday. So I'm like, okay, I'll just take my time with it. I wasn't trying to look at no lynching video of the brother dying. You know what I'm saying? But even the photographs of the brother face pressed to the concrete under a pig's knee. The pig with a real sinister, sickening, just nasty, wicked look on his face the whole time. 7 minutes. Killed our brother. So even the still photos I saw was very, very horrific. Very, very harrowing. Very much so. So Janet Jones says, I know George personally. Shout out to George Floyd and, you know, his family and friends out there. I'll tell you that. But, yeah. He had his hands in his pockets too. Yeah, dude. He cried out for his mother before dying, somebody said. George is a security. Everybody loves him, says Janet. So we have another black man whose life was taken at the hands of some, I'm just gonna call him a race soldier. I'm chalking this lynching up, I mean, clearly white supremacy. I mean, you know, if y'all didn't know how much of a ritual this stuff is and how they've been doing this to us for hundreds of years, ripping off our body parts, making lampshades out of our skin, eating our flesh. Yep, that part. Eating us, the cannibalism, the bringing the whole family, wives, everybody celebrating these type of lynchings. This is what they get off on. And this is how the devil, Satan himself, draws his energy off of us through these things. So don't think for a second that this was an accident. Don't think for a second that this was just another incident of deadly force or excessive force. There was a level of enjoyment, you know, and you know, there's a very deep sadistic nature to this. Shout out to all 411 people in the chat. Everybody hit that like button right quick. I'm about to read this article. This article is coming out of the Daily Mail UK. And again, the title is New Video. And this came out at 6:43 Eastern Time. I think this morning it was updated. I'm sorry, what's today? Yeah, it came out today. It came out this morning, right? So this article from the UK Daily Mail it says new video shows George Floyd being dragged out of his car without resisting arrest, handcuffed and manhandled on the sidewalk before he was murdered by a cop who kneeled on his neck. These are the bullet points of this article, and I'm gonna just go ahead and cite the Copyright Infringement Act, 1976. I'm using this sharing this article and its contents, you know, under the fair use doctrine. So this is for educational and commentary purposes, and the educational purposes is undoing anti-black racism and replacing that system with the system of justice. And so that's what we're learning how to do right here in the Lioness Den on FlyNubianQueenTV.com every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, with me, Lioness Crowned, your revolutionary, unapologetically black host. If you got a problem with it, then you just gonna have a problem. Anyway, back to this article. All right, so these are the bullet points, main ideas from this article. It says footage has emerged showing the moment George Floyd was pulled from his car and placed in handcuffs. 2 officers are seen wrestling with a 46-year-old as they forcibly remove him and attempt to restrain him. Thank you so much, Felicia Johns. Thank you for your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to you. It also says separate CCTV footage from a restaurant also shows the handcuffed Floyd being escorted to the squad car. It comes after Minneapolis Police Department said Floyd died on Monday after suffering medical distress. Somebody call BS on that for me. Y'all know how to call BS in here. Yeah, thank you for that scripture. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. See, y'all done got me. I done lost my spot. All right, it says a spokesperson said officers have responded to reports of, quote, forgery and claimed Floyd resisted arrest. We call BS on that too. Thank you. Thank you for putting that in, y'all. 4 cops involved in the incident were fired on Tuesday after initially being placed on paid leave. Names were not officially released. However, 2 cops were identified online as Derek Chauvin and Tao Thao. Sounds like an Asian person to me. I don't know. Yeah, y'all call them BS. And another main idea from this article says chaos erupted at Minneapolis protests Tuesday night over George Floyd's death. Shout out to them. Shout out to those who created the chaos in that Minneapolis protest. Shout out to them. More power to you. Powers, powers, powers. All right, so this article says new video footage shows the moment George Floyd was pulled from his car by police moments before a white officer pinned him to the ground by his neck in an altercation that led to his death and sparked national calls for justice in Minneapolis. Floyd, a 46-year-old black man, was filmed passing out on the ground on Monday after white police officer Derek Chauvin knelt on his neck as he arrested him for allegedly trying to use forged documents at a local deli. He later died in the hospital following the incident that is now under investigation by the FBI and prompted thousands of protesters to take to the streets. The Minneapolis Police Department had confirmed Floyd, a father of two, died on Monday night after suffering medical distress, quote unquote. Medical distress, y'all? After officers responded to a call of a forgery in progress. Y'all hear this? I'm going to keep going and then I'll talk. Spokesman John Elder said police located Floyd in his car and ordered him to exit the vehicle, after which he physically resisted officers, quote unquote, physically resisted officers. However, type in however. Y'all say however. However. I'm going to read that last part again. And then y'all going to say however. We going to say however. I just saw 21 on the clock. Thank you. Real women don't do nonsense. Yeah, I believe you. I believe he did die on the scene and that they are lying. But I'm going to get back to this article, though. Rereading that last part, spokesman John Elder said police located Floyd in his car and ordered him to exit the vehicle, after which he physically resisted officers. However, new video footage obtained by Fox 9 has shed light on the moments leading up to Floyd's arrest, showing two officers manhandling and forcibly removing him from his car as he is placed in handcuffs outside the Cup Foods grocery store on 38th and Chicago Avenue in South Minneapolis. I'm gonna read it again. Spokesman John Elder said police located Floyd in his car and ordered him to exit the vehicle, after which he physically resisted officers. However, new video footage obtained by Fox 9 has shed light on the moments leading up to Floyd's arrest, showing two officers manhandling and forcibly removing him from his car as he is placed in handcuffs outside the Cup Foods grocery store on 38th and Chicago Avenue in South Minneapolis. Floyd appears to be complying with officers and not resisting arrest before an altercation ensues. Let me read that one more again. Floyd appears to be complying with officers and not resisting arrest before an altercation ensues. Additional CCTV footage obtained by CBS News has also emerged from a nearby restaurant, showing parts of the altercation between Floyd and officers on the sidewalk. The video right here, y'all. The video right here. What should I do? Should I play it or nah? Should I play it or nah? Of our brother. This came from Alex Leinert from Fox 9 News, right? This is a public tweet. I have the right to use it. It's a public damn tweet. It says, this is her caption. It says, new video sent to us shows the moment George Floyd was removed from his vehicle and handcuffed on 38th and Chicago. Video courtesy of Christopher Belfry. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I want y'all to, everybody hit that like button right quick. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to FlyNubianQueenTV.com. Make sure you text the word Queens with an S to 31996. That's Queens to 31996. Now, we already know how these people lie. We already know exactly what it is. We already know that. But, I mean, I don't understand why people continue to tell these lies on our people before they kill them, as if we don't have these things called, like, technology. Like, we don't have cameras. Like, you know what I'm saying? Things ain't documented. You know what I'm saying? But we just gonna go ahead and show you, because this came out this morning. This is new footage. So I'm gonna go ahead and show this new public footage, courtesy of, well, this is from Alex Lehnert's Twitter account, Alex Lehnert Fox 9. And this is actually linked in the article that I cited already from the Daily Mail, okay, from the Daily Mail. All right, so that's done. Let me get this tablet. And then I want y'all to make sure y'all are subscribed to Fly Nubian Queen. Make sure you subscribe to FlyNubianQueenTV.com, FlyNubianQueen.com, the network for melanated women like you. All right, so let me turn up the volume. Y'all keep typing in. So this is new footage that came from Fox 9 News. Here we go. Let's see what we're going to do right here. I can make it a little bit bigger. All right, y'all. Bear with me. Thank you all for liking and sharing this video. I mean, I don't know. Did it look like he was resisting to y'all? Let me see if I can take that back right quick. Take it back right quick. Somebody said police wrong. Somebody said put the camera down and start doing something about it. I don't get the people who just sit and record this stuff. Hey, you were preaching to the choir. All right, so that's the new video that came out on Fox 9 News. That is on Alex Leonard's Twitter account. It's linked in this article from the UK Daily Mail. Again, it says Floyd appears to be complying with officers and not resisting arrest before an altercation ensues. That's what this article says. It says additional CCTV footage obtained by CBS News has also emerged from a nearby restaurant showing parts of the altercation between Floyd and officers on the sidewalk. It's a lot of videos in here. I'm not showing all of that. And it says it comes after a 10-minute video was widely shared on social media on Tuesday showing a white officer kneeling on Floyd's neck for more than 6 minutes as he pleads to be released before eventually losing consciousness. Thousands of protesters took to the streets of Minneapolis later that night, demanding justice for the 46-year-old, leading to confrontations with police officers firing rubber bullets. 4 Minneapolis police officers involved in Floyd's arrest were fired on Tuesday after initially being placed on paid administrative leave. The nerve of these bastards to have placed those bastards on paid administrative leave after that incident so quickly is just, it's very, very telling. It's very, very telling. Floyd's family broke their silence on his death, publicly demanding the cops to be charged with murder. His sister, Bridget Floyd, spoke out, saying the cops' termination is not enough, quote unquote, is not enough. Everybody hit that like button. I need to see them likes go up. It's about 600 of y'all in the chat right now in the Lioness Den, lunchtime. All right, this article also says the new videos have shed light on the events leading up to Floyd's death, which has sparked outrage and questions over officers' alleged use of force on a suspect accused of nonviolent offense. CCTV footage from a local restaurant shows a handcuffed Floyd sitting on the ground as a police officer who was not seen in the original viral video speaks to him before picking him up and holding him against the wall. All of this over some damn alleged forgery, though. All of this over some damn alleged forgery. Just wanted to make sure y'all don't forget that part. Another police officer then comes over and helps escort Floyd to a nearby police car before the clip ends. The events to follow were then captured in a separate video widely shared on Tuesday, which showed Floyd pleading with the cop to stop, saying, "Please, please, I can't breathe, and my stomach hurts, my neck hurts, everything hurts," as he is pinned to the ground. Witnesses at the scene were heard urging the arresting officers to stop, with one pointing out that Floyd is not resisting arrest. The 4 officers involved in the incident were fired from the Minneapolis Police Department on Tuesday after initially being placed on paid administrative leave. Their names have not been officially released. However, the 2 cops seen on Monday's video have been identified online as Derek Chauvin and Thao, Touthao. Now, I will tell you that I saw something with Derek Chauvin. That's the pig who had his knee on our brother's neck. I saw something going around of him on the internet with his address up. Interesting. But anyway, back to this article. It says thousands of defiant protesters took to the streets to demand justice for Floyd on Tuesday and were met with Minneapolis cops in riot gear firing rubber bullets. Demonstrators carrying placards reading "I can't breathe" and "Justice for Floyd" surrounded a police precinct Tuesday night after the disturbing video of 46-year-old Floyd begging the cop to stop before falling unconscious was shared online. The victim's heartbroken family have called for the cops to be charged with murder, and their lawyer revealed white cop Derek Chauvin knelt on Floyd's neck for a staggering 8 minutes during the arrest for forgery. Floyd worked as a security guard at Conga Latin Bistro, a local bistro in Minneapolis. The bar's owners have described him as a, quote, very calm, nice guy, end quote, who was not the type to be, quote, aggressive or disrespectful, period. Okay, let me finish reading this before I comment on that because I have things to say. The demonstrators demanded the arrest of the 4 officers, but were met with rubber bullets and tear gas fired by masked cops as the city streets descended into chaos. Some had their faces doused in milk to limit the effects of gas, while others ran for cover. And it's a whole bunch of photos right here. So y'all have the link to that article. Y'all need to see that article now. Let me tell y'all something. Anytime you see a description of a black person and they use words like black man or woman, especially black man, in this case our brother Floyd was a very, very calm, somebody type in calm, nice guy or nice, and that he was not the type to be aggressive or disrespectful, period. Right? Now this paragraph, I'm gonna read this paragraph again. It says Floyd worked as a security guard at Conga Latin Bistro, a local bistro in Minneapolis. The bar's owners have described him as very calm, nice guy who was not the type to be aggressive or disrespectful. Somebody said being calm and nice is being a prey. Interesting. So basically, why do we have to go out of our way, or why do people have to go out of their way to describe black people, in this case a black man, as calm, nice, not aggressive, or not disrespectful? Those are all coded language. That's what people think about y'all black men and us black women and also black children anyway. How dare you not be nice? How dare you not be calm? How dare you to ever be aggressive or disrespectful? Those are the descriptors that the bar's owners gave about our brother, right? And so like that's not complimentary. You know what I'm saying? That shows a whole lot of internalized things that, you know, people think and say about Black people. You know, and I just had a discussion with my professor last night. We were talking about this last night with Dr. Joy DeGrew. And in my class, post-traumatic slave syndrome, I'm taking a spring semester course. And, you know, it's just like, you know, everything, because of our compounded trauma and the day-to-day horrors that we have to deal with, you know what I'm saying, anyway, by virtue of being Black in America, right? It's like, how dare you be angry or, you know, seen as defensive or aggressive or anything. All of those things, those attributes have been weaponized against us so that it will break our will to act in accordance with how we really, really feel in order to suppress our desire to even resist in any way, shape, or form now, passive aggressively or in any way, right? And so many of us are living under a stereotype threat. A stereotype threat is when you know you're around people who are, or potentially could be, automatically stereotyping you for being Black and male, Black and female, or, you know, lower class, or whatever the stereotypes may be. So you adjust your behaviors and you act outside of your own authenticity in order to prove that you're not the stereotype, right? Like, that would be like me walking around and pretending as if I didn't grow up in the neighborhood that I grew up in, and me having to act white or amicable and smiling and changing the way I talk and all of this stuff because I don't want you to see me as the average Black girl, because I am not like that. Please don't stereotype me, right? So that's a lot of what tends to happen to us. And it's just so timely that we had this conversation in my class last night on a live Q&A. And, you know, these things continue to show up. These things continue to show up. I want to welcome you into the Lioness Den. This is Jade Arendelle, aka Lioness Crown, your revolutionary, unapologetically Black African host, right here at FlyNubianQueen.com, the network for melanated women like you, and for some brothers like you, right? Right here at Fly Nubian Queen, we're all about uplifting the Black voice, the power of the Black female voice. You know, we are, you know, participating as fierce commentators and contributors in the new Black media. We are rewriting the narrative and we're taking control over our own narratives. Make sure you text the word Queens to 31996. That's Queens with an S to 31996. Now, I can go on and on and on about this case. We know that I'm just going to name a couple articles. Y'all can go back and take a look at them. I'll read the headlines. My moderator has probably already put them in. But this one is from CNN. It says, there's no epidemic there's one epidemic we may never find a vaccine for: fear of Black men in public spaces. Y'all need to take a look at that. And the family of our brother George Floyd does talk, okay? Is mentioned in this article, right? And then you got, you know, the Karen chick with her dog not on a leash in Central Park, who called the police on our brother, and she gets her dog taken away and her job taken away. And so this article is it's okay. It talks about the fear of Black men. I'm gonna read a short section from this. It says, why this fear of Black men persists. Ask where this fear comes from, and there's one easy answer. White America has long associated Black men with criminality and hypersexuality. It permeates our history and our art. We are Nat Turner, who terrified plantation owners when he led a 19th century slave rebellion. We're Bigger Thomas from Richard Wright's Native Son. We're Marlo Stanfield, that ice cold drug dealer from HBO's The Wire. It's why some social science experiments show that even trained police officers are biased to see Black men as threats. This fear of Black men doesn't just spring from racism, it's psychological. There's a body of work in literature and psychology that speaks to a historical tradition where some white people, white men in particular, project the primal aggressions that they refuse to see in themselves onto Black people. Listen, I don't know I don't know. It sounds like a whole bunch of damn explaining to me. Quite frankly, there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. But if I was to rely on anyone's research, I'm going to rely on the research of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing of, Neely Fuller Jr. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to rely on the research of Dr. Claude Anderson. I'm going to rely on the research of our people that explains that, these people are in fear of genetic annihilation. That's just point blank, period. More white people are dying than are being born. More white people are dying than are being born. Now, we already know, if you took biology class or whatever, you know about recessive traits and recessive genes and dominant ones. The melanin is dominant. The lack thereof is recessive. The black man and black women can reproduce themselves, reproduce blackness in any race. But white folk, when they reproduce, they ain't white no more. The offspring is not white. There's a lot going on there. If y'all haven't read the ISIS papers, I'm gonna need y'all to read that. And y'all need to share these resources and these books with your children. I'm trying to tell you, because me growing up with Howard University literally in my backyard, and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and them around, you know what I'm saying? Professor James Small around, Muta Baruka would come up, you know what I'm saying, and be in this neighborhood and going to all of these lectures and all this African-centered, wonderful resources that I literally had at my fingertips. And there's something about reading the work of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, the ISIS papers, and reading the work of Anthony Browder, you know what I'm saying, survival strategies and stuff like that from the Browder file. It's something about reading that stuff when you're like 14, 15, 16 years old, as in my case, that sticks with you. You understand? So I'm like that song, what's that song? Can't nobody tell me nothing. Yeah, you can't tell me nothing when it comes on to racism and white supremacy. You have to understand it. You have to understand how it works. I'm trying to tell you. Now, this article, you can go ahead and take a look on this commentary. It's written by a black dude by the name of John Blake. Again, that CNN article is called "There's One Epidemic We May Never Find a Vaccine For: Fear of Black Men in Public Spaces." All right. Now, I think it was week before last, I did read from post-traumatic slave syndrome, and I read an excerpt about strange fruit, and here we are again. I think it was about Ahmaud Arbery, you know what I'm saying, and this is chapter 3, and the chapter is crimes against humanity. But this chapter is long and it goes on and on and on. I was going to read an excerpt from it today. I'm really not in the vibes. Y'all need to get this book. It's called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome by Dr. Joy DeGruy. You need to get this book. All right. Now, it talks about crimes against humanity, crimes against you, black woman, black man, black child, and how it's shown up. You know, it gives examples, the lynchings, of course. And I read some excerpts from Ida B. Wells from this book the last time. But it also talks about Greenwood, 1921. It talks about the Tuskegee experiments in this chapter. Also, civil rights and gaining equality and, voter intimidation. Leveling the playing field in education, how systemic racism and white supremacy has shown up there. That's a crime against humanity. What they're doing to our children in public education is a crime against humanity. The lack of equality in the workplace is mentioned here. The Vietnam War, how we were taken, drafted, put on the front lines. Also incarceration, mass incarceration with, facts and figures, data. I'm naming some of the crimes against humanity onto us. Trauma from civil rights to the present, justice and policing. Now, I think it may be worth me reading a little bit from this section on justice and policing. But before I do, I want everyone to make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you have texted the word Queens to 31996. That's Queens with an S to 31996. All right. Now, this is from Dr. Joy DeGruy's book. You need to get this book. Page 85, justice and policing. Just about every black man I know has been harassed by those employed in law enforcement. A number have been assaulted, some have been murdered. Most of us are aware of the events that made national headlines: the beating of Rodney King in Los Angeles in 1992, the murder of Amadou Diallo by police in New York City in 1999, and the savage beating of Donovan Jackson, a developmentally disabled and partially deaf youth in Los Angeles in 2002. Less well publicized nationally were the shootings of Kendra James in 2003 and James Jahar Perez in 2004 in Portland, Oregon. In both incidents, the victims were black and unarmed. In both incidents, the police had many options. In both incidents, the officers chose to use deadly force where it was not called for. In all such events, questions remain among them. Who were those officers protecting and serving? Question mark. Policing continues to represent one of the most pervasive and obvious examples of racial inequality in law enforcement. Again, a historical lens provides facts that help us better understand what we are experiencing today. After slavery, there was a paranoid response to the fear of reprisal from freed slaves. A little known or discussed piece of American policing is its predecessor during and after slavery, the slave patrols. These patrols were designed to control, mediate, and restrict the movements of blacks through intimidating acts of terrorism and violence. Most scholars agree that this system of patrols paved the way for what we now have come to accept as American policing. This chapter is deep. Y'all need this book. Y'all need this book. Thank you, Dor, for putting that in. Y'all need this book. Now, there's an excerpt here. Here's a historical fact. Policing was not the only social institution enmeshed in slavery. Slavery was fully institutionalized in the American economic and legal order, with laws being enacted at both the state and national divisions of government. Virginia, for example, enacted more than 130 slave statutes between 1689 and 1865. Slavery and the abuse of people of color, however, was not merely a Southern affair, as many have been taught to believe. Connecticut, New York, and other colonies enacted laws to criminalize and control slaves. Congress also passed fugitive slave laws allowing the detention and return of escaped slaves in 1793 and 1850. As Turner, Gio-Passy, and Vanderveer remark, the literature clearly establishes that a legally sanctioned law enforcement system existed in America before the Civil War for the express purpose of controlling the slave population and protecting the interests of slave owners. The similarities between the slave patrols and modern American policing are too salient to dismiss or ignore. Hence, the slave patrol should be considered a forerunner of modern American law enforcement. The vitriolic violence against black people is well documented, whether carried out by slave patrols, members of the KKK, police officers, or average white citizens. Black lives still don't seem to matter. Even the young ones are unable to escape harm. Generally speaking, in most cultures, children are seen as innocent and in need of protection and guidance. This is due to our basic understanding about human development. Every society in the world shares a common practice of trying to safely rear children through childhood and adolescence, assisting them as they matriculate into young adulthood. While the methods of child rearing might differ from culture to culture, we pretty much all agree that children and youth occupy a unique place in the society and are seen as more vulnerable than adults, and that children are in need of protection and support as they grow and develop and should not be treated and judged like adults. But y'all already know what happens to us. It gets real deep. This chapter gets real deep. Now there's a picture here. Y'all know who this is. This is George Finney. George Finney. Anybody ever seen this picture? The story of George Finney defies everything we have come to know about how to care for and protect children and reveals a disturbing and gruesome look into the deeply flawed criminal justice system. It's the system set up the way it's supposed to be set up, y'all. George Jr Finney was born October 21st, 1929. He was accused of killing 2 young white girls in Clarendon County, South Carolina, and on June 16th, 1944, became the youngest person ever to be executed in the United States in the 20th century. George was 5'1" and weighed about 90 pounds. He was so small, adjustments had to be made in order to secure his body in the electric chair. In order for George to commit the murders, he would have had to lift and wield a railroad beam that weighed over 20 pounds with enough force to kill 2 girls. It was later established that he would not have been able to lift or swing the beam of that size, but he was already executed. Youngest person ever to be executed. State of South Carolina, 1944. So you already see what's going on. I see 555s, 555. 557 of y'all are in the lion's den right now. I need all of y'all to hit that like button. I want all of y'all to hit that like button. Now y'all heard, I just read a little bit about George Finney, a little bit about the history of slave patrol, you know, the police, law enforcement in the United States of America, etc., etc. Now hold on. Similarly, I'm gonna need y'all to hit that like button right quick. Hit that like button right quick, and let me pull this up. Let me go over, do what I gotta do. I'm gonna pull up something right quick as soon as I see this chick's face. Yep, there's an article from The Root, and I don't know if my mod duel is still in, but if you are duel, I am sending it to you right now. Hold on, y'all. It's about this Florida chick. All right, duel, you got it. If you're still in there, duel. If not, don't worry about it. This is from The Root. It says, Florida woman arrested for drowning her autistic son after telling police 2 black men abducted him. Again, Florida woman arrested for drowning her autistic son after telling police 2 black men abducted her son. This has been going on, right? I just read about the history of policing for an example, and I went through some of the crimes against humanity of black folk in this country. We did talk about George Finney. We are talking about strange fruit. The strange fruit ain't never stopped hanging in this damn country. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, these people have been killing their own kids, have been killing their own people and blaming it on black people for how long? You know, and so there is this unconscious bias that black men in particular, especially, but black people in general, are criminals, hypersexual, deviants, you know what I'm saying, and all of that. And quite frankly, with all of that police training and things that these people are supposed to be getting in terms of de-escalating, you know, and all of that, they're doing exactly what their job was designed to do in this country. So when we see these cases, like our brother, may he rest in power, George Floyd, you know, we have to stay focused. We have to stay focused. The name of the book I was reading from is called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. It's by Dr. Joy DeGruy. B1. Thanks for coming in, Philip, to the Lioness Den. Peace, Janet. We have to stay focused. Now, these things are designed to traumatize us. How many deaths or killings of white people do you see going viral on social media at the hands of police? Because they get killed by police too, by the way, and other people on camera. How often do you see that go viral? How often do you see dead white bodies shown on TMZ or on your evening news? How often? Right? So what we also have to be aware of is that all of this is designed to traumatize us, to give you PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, right? But then even goes into the longer generational trauma and epigenetic trauma that we have, post-traumatic slave syndrome. Now, y'all ain't paying me to teach today, and I don't have much time, but you know, I can definitely go into the effects of trauma. The effects of trauma. Yeah, Richard says 0. Yeah, Brittany says 0. Yeah, you don't see dead white bodies like that going viral. So all of this, listen, there's a whole science and a whole research behind the effect that these sorts of lynchings have on your black mind, that they have on your black psyche. Another book that I'm reading that is not written by a black person, I don't think this person's black. The Body Keeps the Score. Brain, Mind, and Body and the Healing of Trauma. This is about the effects of trauma on your body and your mind in general, right? Not necessarily related to PTSS, post-traumatic slave syndrome, or anything. But we need to be well-versed in these things. Thank you so much for your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen. Alexis, facts, you're right. We have to stay focused. We have to stay focused. I could have came on here today and saw cussing, throwing stuff, turning up, yelling, turning red. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what is that going to do? What is that going to do? What is that going to do for me? What is that going to do for you? What hope? I just saw quadruple 5s on the clock. What hope does that leave for our children? Who I hope you will share this broadcast and let your children, you know, see these things, because we do have intelligent, child-friendly conversations in the Lioness Den on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays right here at FlyNubianQueenTV.com. So share it with your kids. But what is that going to do? Shout out to you, Darnell. Thank you so much for your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen. We definitely appreciate you. Yeah. So, listen. Was I disturbed by seeing our brother pinned down to the ground like a damn hog with this cracker's knee on his neck? Absolutely. Did I get angry? Hell yeah. Was I incensed? Yes. Did it trouble my spirit? Yes. But is it going to throw me off my game? No, because we got work to do. We got work to do. Now, I was listening to Dr. Boyce before I came on because he was talking about the very, very same thing. And what he was saying was basically, see, people messaging me about this. Can you write a petition to give our congressman to pass a law to protect black men from being murdered by the police? These are the things people ask me to do. To write a petition, and this person's asking me, sorry y'all, this is just a brief aside, but this is the work, right? Can you write a petition to give to our congressman to pass a law to protect black men from being murdered by the police? Question mark plus question mark. Hold on for a second. I'm live streaming right now. Let's talk when I get off, period. In the meantime, start looking and seeing if you see anything similar that may be already out there, period. I was listening to Dr. Boyce, and he was saying the importance of us practicing powernomics. We need to build a strong economy, which is why we all need multiple streams of income. I already told you how this economy is going. We already know that, right? We need to be manufacturers, and we need to be the heads of industry, and we need a strong black economy. And from there, we should be able to control our local politics. Now, when you control your local politics, don't fall for a lot of this stuff where people be like, oh, voting don't mean nothing. Going to the polls, what's that going to do? It's not going to do nothing. Listen, vote if you're going to vote. If you're not going to vote, find a way to get civically engaged or to do something. Now, let me tell you what. When we have our own strong economy, we're able to buy our own politicians. We can run our own politicians. When I say run them, meaning we can finance them, give them our agenda, and put them up there to legislate and make laws in our local areas. That way, you can screen the people who are going to be judges on the bench. You can, you go through the different candidates of people who are going to be mayor, you know what I'm saying? And the mayor picks the police chief and X, Y, and Z, and all of that is connected to how your community is being patrolled by police. Work in tandem with your folks on the Hill in the House of Representatives, who is beholden to you to represent you in the Senate. We need to know these things as well. Now, is it the end all be all? No, it is a strategy. But again, we have to practice powernomics. We need a strong black economy. We need our own strong black dollars. And then we buy our own damn politicians. And then we have more so control of who is in our communities, policing our communities, and what tactics they're using. But if we're not participating, then you ain't participating. You have no say so. You're not gaining, you're not seizing control. You're not even, you know what I'm saying? You're not even a part of the discussion. The decisions are being made about you. Decisions are being made for you. Decisions are being made on your behalf. What you want to do? Thank you so much for your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen. Esther, petition and stop paying taxes, shut down police stations that abuse and murder people of color. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen. Esther, we really, really do appreciate you. Thank you. So basically, that's what it is. I have a whole bunch of damn articles up. I'll just read a couple more headlines. I saw something about Amy Klobuchar. This came out of News One. It says Amy Klobuchar, who didn't prosecute controversial police killings, demands justice for George Floyd. A Hennepin County attorney, Klobuchar never once charged any cops in dozens of officer-involved deaths. But you know, Joe Crime Bill Biden is vetting her. Possibly to become the next vice president of the United States of America. And now here she is talking about she's demanding justice for George Floyd, but when she was a prosecuting attorney, she never once charged any cops in dozens of officer-involved deaths. Y'all need to know who these people are. Y'all need to know who these people are. Use your vote wisely. So yeah, it's easy to jump on a bandwagon now when everybody's talking about it, and when people are in Minneapolis turning up, and when it's right in front of your face, and when the black vote is on the line, then you start talking, right? You start talking straight then. But when you was a prosecuting attorney, Amy, what the hell did you do to replace a system of anti-black racism and white supremacy with a system of justice? Not a damn thing. So yeah, that's what we got. That's what we got. I see that according to Madame Noir, also, this is a quick update. 23 hours ago, Justice Department will investigate Ahmaud Arbery's death as a hate crime, according to the family's attorney. All right. Also out of News One, George Floyd protest is marred by violence as Minneapolis police come ready for war. That's out of News One. Also from the Griot, just so you know, former NBA star Stephen Jackson mourns his brother George Floyd killed by Minneapolis police. Y'all should read that. He had things to say about it. TMZ, these bastards. It says George Floyd death, family's lawyer calls it a horrific killing. It's open season on black people. And we know that attorney Benjamin Crump is representing George Floyd's family in this case. All right, y'all can go look that up. And I also think I saw something else by Gayle King, who is also very, very bothered, and she made some public statements as well. So y'all can do your own research, look at these things. This thing, unfortunately, our brother was just lynched on Monday. Today is Wednesday. I'm sure there'll be more updates on this. I will highlight some of these updates when I come back into the Lioness Den on Friday. But what we need to do is stay focused. We need to be on code and be on guard. If you don't understand what is happening around us or to you around us right now, then, you know, start doing some research. Look at history. Look at how these policing systems and things were set up in the first place, right? Look at who's on the ballot locally, especially, you know, within your local communities. Who's the police chief? How are they policing? What's their record? Who's the mayor? You know what I'm saying? Are there any other ways that you want to get involved? If there are any petitions out there, then you need to go out and look at some of those petitions. You can get thousands of people to sign a petition that puts pressure on folk to start to do things differently. Now, is it the end all be all? Nah. If you ask me, the end all be all is us practicing powernomics, us building a strong black economy, us buying our own politicians, us creating our own neighborhoods, our own industries, and us, you know, seizing local power and political power, and protecting our children first and foremost, and ourselves, and looking out for each other. Terry Jones says, I don't trust Gail's tears at all. So here's the thing, right? Because if y'all are going to be tuning into me, you're going to notice that there are a lot of people who do things that get caught up in scandals or controversies. Let's say controversies, right? People, they're black people who do things and say things that we don't like, right? That I don't like. But the truth is the truth, and facts is facts. And I can't say that because, for instance, you know, somebody did an interview that I thought was messed up, that I didn't like, that they can't genuinely be grieving right now for the lynching of our brother George Floyd, and Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor, and everybody else. I can't say that. So we have to make sure that, like, we're contextualizing the things that we're talking about. Charlemagne. Ash Cash, yeah, you threw that name in there. So we'll see. I just brought that up for your information. I brought that up to depict, to show that some celebrities are starting to talk about these things. And quite frankly, as this stuff becomes more and more blatant, and a lot of these folk who thought they was all buddy with white folks, and it was in society and in good with them, as they're gonna see the uptick in these lynchings and in these atrocities happening to us, it's going to force a lot of people to really reassess their relationship to their blackness. They're not going to see themselves as safe or protected, you know what I'm saying, under the thumb or under the arm of white daddy or white mommy or whatever. You know, they're going to start to be like, well, damn. Or any sane black person, you know what I'm saying, is going to start looking like, damn, that's happening a lot. That's happening to her, or that's happening to him. And it's becoming more and more frequent. Oh my gosh. It's going, like, people won't get their NIGGA wake-up call. You understand what I'm saying? And quite frankly, if people want to be on code in response to these things and be on guard and be proactive about this stuff, then hey, I love black people. That's what I gotta say. So I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna take a look at your comments right quick and pull up this broadcast again. I want everyone to make sure you hit that like button and hit that share button. Maybe I will talk about post-traumatic slave syndrome and our PTSD and the epigenetics behind it. Maybe on Friday. It just really depends. Honestly, y'all, the frequency of, like, these lynchings, the craziness, just everything's just kind of seems like, kind of feels like it's upside down. So quite frankly, I don't know what we're going to talk about on Friday. Quite frankly, we don't know what is going to happen the next hour or the next day or the next 24 hours. We just really don't know. You know what I'm saying? But all I do know is that we need to take an empowered approach. Now, what I will tell you, if this stuff gets to be too much, if it gets to be too much for you, if you just can't handle it, if it's keeping you up at night, if it's throwing you off your game, if it's stressing you out, turn off the TV, turn off social media. Every time someone forwards you something or DMs you or inboxes you something, you don't have to look at it. Protect your spirit, protect your mind, protect your, you know, your psyche against these things, because quite frankly, they're going to continue to keep happening unless we systemically and proactively, and I'm going to say legally, because, you know, we're on YouTube right now, do something about it. You know, change some policies, shake things up in that way. I'm not advocating any violence, because that's not what I'm talking about. I want to be very clear here. But y'all know what I'm talking about in terms of us, you know, do something solution oriented as opposed to consuming all of this stuff and letting it get you down. So that's one thing you can do. Protect your spirit, protect your psyche. Turn off the TV, limit your social media. You don't have to open up and look at every single thing that happens, right? The next thing is find somebody to talk to. Form a support group if you need to. These are conversations we can be having at home. Get with your homegirls or your homeboys or your folks. Support each other around these sorts of things. I definitely have my support team. You know what I'm saying? People that keep me sane and keep me grounded. That's the next thing, right? So we can kind of, like, have built a level of support, because we're going to need all the support and spiritual strength and mental fortitude that we can possibly muster to continue to not only survive but to thrive. The third thing, if it's really, really, really getting you down, get a therapist. Get a therapist. Talk to a professional. Try to find some tools and some resources and some techniques to de-stress. Practice mindfulness, breathing. There's this technique called body tapping, where you tap certain parts of your body and it gets the negative energy out. There's apps for that. Just look up tapping, TAPPING. Journaling. I write all the time, so I have different journals for different things. You might want to journal those things out. These are all things that we can definitely do. Shout out to Black Mama. Thank you so much for your generous contribution to FlyNubianQueen.com. We really, really appreciate you. Shout out to you as well, Herbert Harris. That's right, turn off the TV and cable, but to enunciate and engage with others with a like mindset. That's right. That's right. Thank you. Great. You said great advice, sis, Black Mama. Thank you for your generous contributions to Fly Nubian Queen. Y'all, may y'all be blessed. Be blessed, be blessed. And I want to, but tapping, again, tapping is a technique that you can you tap and meditate and you breathe and you get negative energy out of different parts of your body. So you're an expert on you. You know how stress affects your body. If you get really, really agitated, if you get really, really anxious, what happens to your body? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it in your stomach? Do you get a headache? What happens? When you study, tapping, you use that technique, it's just supposed to be it's an energy cleansing technique and strategy. But there's a lot of metaphysical things that we can be doing. Aromatherapy works, acupuncture works, whatever you need to do to stay balanced, do that. And again, you need to, I'm drinking water. Y'all see I got 2 cups over here. Go to shopfnq.com, by the way. But drink a lot of water, and be mindful of what you're putting in your body. Some of the caffeine, some of the sugar, and some of that salt raises our blood pressure, and then that compounded with all of the day-to-day stresses in our, COVID-19, quarantine, or whatever, pandemic lives, the situation that we're living in, and being Black in America, and raising families, or if you're dating, or if you're in school, or if you're working, if you're trying to start, find work, or if you're whatever those day-to-day stresses are, what we put into our bodies also has a direct effect on your body chemistry. So be mindful of that. Increase your greens, eat more fruits, drink more water, exercise. So there's different things that we need to be doing, but we have to do those things if we're going to be focused. If we're going to be in this for the long run in terms of shifting the paradigm and replacing a system of anti-Black racism and white supremacy with a system of justice, we have to, yes, Sonny, meditate, but we have to find our balance. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I'm about to go practice, give me some self-care and some balance. And I got, emails to return and things to respond to. All right. So I want to thank all my mods. I want to thank everyone who contributed. I want to thank everyone who hit that like button. I want to thank all of our new subscribers today. I want to make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure you subscribe to FlyNubianQueen.com on iTunes, Facebook, and right here on YouTube. Make sure you text the word Queens to 31996. Get serious about starting a business. That's construction going on, y'all, if you hear any noise. Get serious about starting a business and managing your money. Go over to flynubianbusiness.com. That's flynubianbusiness.com, as well as flynubianmoney.com. flynubianmoney.com. I want to thank all moderators. I want to thank the B1 family. I see y'all. I love you all a lot. Let's continue to lift each other up. Let's look out for each other, really, really, really look out for each other. Let's be on code and on guard, and let's send some condolences and love, light, and healing vibes to the George Floyd family, the Ahmaud Arbery family, the Breonna Taylor family, and every other family of Black, folks who are going through it right now because of, their loved ones. Our brothers and sisters' lives are being cut short at the hands of demonic forces, aka racism, anti-Black racism, and white supremacy. right? So with that said, I'm going to bless you all. I want you to have a great week. Do something productive. Take care of yourselves. This broadcast is ending, but so is global racism and white supremacy. We will, and we must trample this beast through fortitude, preparedness, and collectivism. And always remember that they stole us, they sold us, so they owe us. Be fierce. And until next time, family, peace and Black power.